On this Halloween weekend, welcome to Defense Against the Dark Arts. This should be fun. Got all kinds of good stuff. As in the past classes, I'm going to show you a couple of video clips from two Harry Potter films. The first one is from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and the second one is from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And they both deal with defense against dark arts. So this will provide some background for some of you who are not familiar with the films or the books. The threat posed by evil is extreme, as evidenced by Professor Alistair Moody's instruction to the students in the 3 unforgivable curses, which, he reminds them, will earn them a one-way ticket to Azkaban prison. The Imperious Curse places a victim under a zombie-like trance that makes him or her unable to resist the perpetrator's command to perform heinous crimes. The Cruciatus Curse tortures the victim to the point of insanity, as in the case of Neville Longbottom's parents. And finally, the Killing Curse strikes its victims dead in a flash of green light to the words, Avada Kedavra. This was the fate of Harry's parents, James and Lily. These 3 curses are among the more dramatic forms of evil in the wizarding world. But of course, evil isn't always so obvious. The Professor Moody who instructs the students in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire isn't the real Alistair Moody at all, but the imposter, Barty Crouch Jr., who has used Polyjuice Potion, you saw him, that little swig? Polyjuice Potion to transform himself into a copy of the real Moody. His evil plan is to lure Harry Potter into a final showdown with the Dark Lord. The trick nearly succeeds, but Harry manages to escape with his life back to a world that stubbornly refuses to believe that Lord Voldemort has returned. The evil lurking in the Ministry of Magic, and even in Hogwarts itself, is the culture of fear, intimidation, and denial that Voldemort's followers use to convince everyone that there is no danger. Anyone who speaks up to say the Dark Lord has returned is ridiculed, discredited, silenced, or punished. Evil is sneaky and often works its dark magic in silence. In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, it becomes known that Lord Voldemort is attempting to read Harry's mind. As an embodiment of evil, Voldemort is aware that one must know one's enemy in order to defeat him or her, and so seeks to probe Harry's thoughts and emotions to manipulate and exploit him. Professor Snape therefore begins to teach Harry the disciplined practice of occlumency, the blocking of one's mind to outside intrusion. It is, as you saw, an exhausting exercise, requiring incredible discipline and skill. Protecting oneself against evil is not easy work. It requires a lifetime of practice and spiritual maturity. Defeating evil isn't a one-time event. It is a lifetime commitment. The same is true in our world. Evil appears in a variety of forms, some dramatic, like war and poverty, while others are more subtle, like addictions, latent sexism in advertising, cultural prejudice, and even teen peer pressure. Evil can make us slaves to our temptations, make us agents of hate and suffering, turn us away from God and each other. But whether dramatic or subtle, they are all tools of the evil one. The Church knows how powerful the evil is that we're up against, and has offered a range of tools to resist and defeat it. The 7 sacraments, blessings, prayers, purification and exorcism rituals, spiritual practices. Many of these are contained in the Episcopal Church's Book of Common Prayer. But they also come to us from other faith and spiritual traditions, including Native American, Eastern Orthodox, Jewish, Buddhist, and earth-centered spirituality. Others have come to us from sources outside the Church, such as psychological counseling, yoga, and other healing arts. The Christian tradition, or the Episcopal Church, does not have a monopoly on defenses against the dark arts, but we have many that serve us well. And we are a faith tradition that is open to the contributions of others who don't think or worship or believe like we do. So, at this point, pick up your wands, grab your spell books, concentrate, and prepare for the battle ahead. The evil one, the Dark Lord, devil, Satan, whatever name you choose to call him, is coming. So one of the reasons that I put these little booklets together is because there's far more material that I could cover in a 45-minute or an hour class. They offer you some important background about the different sorts of protection the church offers against the forces of darkness, and some examples of prayers. And so I'm just going to, if you look through the book, I love this picture. I found this picture here on the inside. This is the Virgin Mary punching the devil in the face, which I just think is awesome.
Yes.
And there's a scripture down there. Discipline yourselves, keep alert. Like a roaring lion, your adversary the devil prowls around looking for someone to devour. Resist him, steadfast in your faith. For you know that your brothers and sisters throughout the world are undergoing the same kinds of suffering. And after you have suffered for a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, support, strengthen, and establish you. To him be the power forever and ever. Amen. So this is a verse of scripture from 1 Peter that describes the belief that there are evil forces in the world that we have to struggle against. There are some discussion questions under number 2. What imagery or emotions related to evil made an impression on you during your viewing of the clips? I mean, these are a bit darker than a lot of the ones we've seen, right?
Anger.
Anger? Okay, can you say more about that?
Anger towards people.
Okay.
It like bullying, using anger to impose your will on other people or impose actions on people.
Okay. So I'm hearing you say sort of violence, abuse of power.
It takes away their ability to act and forces them to act or to be a focus of your actions.
Sure.
And damage.
Okay. Yeah, other thoughts?
Fear.
Fear?
To the point where it was almost crippling.
Oh, yeah. I think we've all had fear that's been crippling, right? We just can't deal.
Like Irene, her daughter felt something in the house and she was scared, crying, shaking. So she came and talked to Father Ita. And Father Ita went over there and she loved it, the way that he talked in the house, the way that he put the water in there. Her daughter, she don't feel anything anymore.
She feels better now?
But she don't sleep in the room anymore.
Some people have had direct experiences, others have had indirect experiences. But everyone has a healthy respect for the fact that darkness exists.
Yes.
Does that say it?
Yes, I think so.
For example, the 3 curses. Killing is pretty quick, rapid, it's over and done with. The torture is really obvious, but it was the 3rd curse, or the first one he described, the imperious, that it's invisible. You can't see it. You don't necessarily know that it's happening until, far along. And I think that that's what are some of the scariest, most insidious. That's how we got started talking about addictions, actually, is how these things start to take over. There is not a taste, there is not necessarily a sight, it's something that happens inside, it happens slowly, it happens over time. It's the kind of thing that just empties you out, by the time you realize it doesn't do anything for you anymore, it's gone past too late. It's something that has taken over your mind. The greatest trick the devil ever has played on the world is making us believe he doesn't exist. And I've heard that somewhere. And for some reason, that came to my mind while you were talking.
Well, and also Voldemort, remember, everybody, the people, his followers are all trying to convince everybody he's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Trying to say, oh, he's not here, and and Harry's like, no, he's here, I fought him, right? Cedric Diggory is dead because I fought him.
But in the 30s, when Nazism was on the rise, and everybody turning their heads away, and now this is a repeated pattern over all of humankind's history.
Right.
Even when and I've had personal experience with this, sometimes you have no choice. Immigrants, when they're working and they're sweeping floors for $1 an hour, inside them, they know this is wrong, but they have no choice.
Yeah, right.
Because they have their family, either they're sending money home to, or there's 3 families in an apartment building, and there is no choice. And for me, evil is those types of things, not the big evil of murder
Right.
and stealing.
Right, those
It's
are the scary
evil
ones.
That's our inside of
Those are the
ourselves.
obvious ones.
Have you taken advantage of anything that the church offers in order to respond to evil? Pamela mentioned like doing a house blessing, right? That's one example of many. There are some in
I've
here.
used
Not,
the rosary.
huh?
I've used the rosary.
You've used the rosary? That's not in there. That's a good one.
Memorize scripture. I guess it's another way to turn toward God in the Word.
Hmm.
And it's comfort and
It's immediate.
it's immediate and it builds you up to face evil. I don't think the devil probably likes scripture very much.
You'll see that before somebody is baptized, they have to make 3 promises to turn away from evil, and then they make 3 promises to turn towards God. So anything that we do that turns us towards God turns us away from evil. So things like that, like memorizing scripture, like, okay, I've got this thing that can provide me encouragement, provide me with some...
Nothing can separate me from the love of God.
Right,
That's
that's...
one of my biggies.
You are facing some rough situation, bad situation, automatically in your mind, Bible words related to the situation you are in comes to your mind,
It does.
and then that gives you
Strength.
like if you are facing some bad thing and it comes to your mind, I can do everything through Christ,
Who
which
strengthens
is
me.
strengtheneth me.